Bangalore, besides being the Silicon Valley of India, is also a thriving hub for rock climbing. The climbing here, however, sometimes happens in the shadows. Within this small community, there are many worlds. In one such world lives Divya, a homemaker and mother of two. She climbs. This film is about people like her and you and me who climb to balance life. The tradition of climbing around the Deccan plateau has a long history. The Durgs, or the Drugs as the Brits call them, pockmark the Deccan. Many of these large granite domes have ancient temples and forts on their summit. Almost as if it were an ancient sport, legend has it that a 16th century capture of a hill fort by the Marathas required a monitor lizard or gorpad to create anchor for the soldiers to scale and take the fort. Suppose it was only natural that the ancient tradition of adventure or spiritual pursuit would be carried forward by the local adventurers in the form of rock climbing. These durgs around Bangalore form an arc from the south to the north along the western flank with a particularly rich concentration in the Kanakpura, Ramnagara, Savandurga belt. Thurahalli, a wild rocky outcrop in Bangalore, has been the nurturing grounds for climbers for over 50 years now.
Hi, I'm Divya. Came across this climbing group called Bangalore Climbing Initiatives, and I could register myself for the bouldering workshop that they had. I'm climbing since 5 months. I'm pretty hooked to it.
I'm Satish. I've been climbing for 27 years now. And Bangalore Climbing Initiatives is focused on predominantly two things. One is to increase the number of the climbing routes that are there around Bangalore, and then have a community of climbers.
My name is Lata, and I started climbing in 1989. So we used to go out, then take the bikes, head out to Savandurga or Ramnagar, just sleep outside near the temples, and then start off early in the morning. There used to be people playing the saxophone all through the night. It was just the togetherness that really made a difference for us. Just to be there in the outdoors, to be climbing the rocks. Somewhere I think it made me the person that I am today.
From amongst the early breed of climbers from the south who used these crags as training grounds for mountaineering, Govindraj was one such. He founded the Deccan Mountaineering League in Mysore in 1966. In mid-60s, another mountaineer, Usha Ramaya, founded the Karnataka Mountaineering Association, or KMA. KMA was the early predecessor of the clubs that sprouted around Bangalore in pursuit of climbing adventures. Dr. Venkatesh Tuppal's Park was another such organization. By late 1970s and early 80s, climbers began to push rock climbing for its own merits and glory, and not as a precursor for mountaineering. 1980s to 90s were truly a golden era for climbing around Bangalore. A bunch of dedicated and visionary climbers who pursued modern techniques of climbing emerged on the scene. Gunda Srinivas, Rukmangada Raju, K.V. Mohan, Mohit Oberoi, Dinesh Kaigunhalli, and many more were part of this breed. Importantly, 3 of these folks created an infrastructure that allowed for others to climb too. 90s to early 2000s saw folks like Balaji SR, Pranesh Manchaya, and Kirti Pais contribute to the infrastructure of climbing.
Visiting climbers like Jean-Francois Hagenmuller, Doug Scott, and Gerard Shar also added to the repertoire of routes around Bangalore.
But by late 2000s, the outdoors energy had fizzled out. In Bangalore, it was hard to find more than a handful of outdoor climbers savvy with ropes. There were less than 24 long routes that were still accessible and in condition to climb. Many traditional climbing areas were no more accessible due to the formation of vulture sanctuary in Ramnagara, and some lost to the dynamiting of rock. A few more years, even the memories may have faded. But starting in 2014, Dinesh Kaiganhalli, Pranesh Manchaya, and a newly formed group called the Bangalore Climbing Initiatives again started opening up new areas, putting up new climbs and reviving old ones. Importantly, BCI began to introduce outdoor climbing to the general population. Badami and Hampi, with their unique vibes, have evolved as two other rock climbing destinations close to Bangalore over the last 2 decades. Today, the Ramnagara Romp, an annual gathering of climbers on a winter weekend at Ramnagara, brings the outdoor climbing community together.
That's the best takeaway from a romp. Getting new people into rope climbs.
Many of them beginners at the start of the year, including Divya, were now confidently ascending the rocky domes. And the process to ensure that they are mentored started 6 months before the romp. It may well have actually started some 60 years ago.